Hey everyone, you're listening to Party Time, My Golf Story with Kevin Walsh and whatever special guest he has today. You can check me out on episode 9 of the podcast. Today I'm wearing Grayson clothes while I'm out practicing because I believe in look good, play good. And follow me on Instagram, Sophia Warren Golf, and hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
It's Party Time, My Golf Story, brought to you by Party Drinks. Classically designed golf drinks for golfers by golfers. And the golf real estate pros Gene Walsh and Vince Visicaro. For your Southwest Florida real estate needs, check them out at suncoastdreams.com. Now here's your host, Kevin Walsh.
Hey, this is part 2 of our interview with Dr. Howdy Giles. He was the dentist for Arnold Palmer. He is also the author of The King and I, which I would suggest you read. This would be great for a coffee table. The King and I, An Unlikely Journey from Fan to Friend. Howdy Giles sent me an autographed copy. It's one of my treasures. It definitely is one of my treasures, and it helped me better understand Arnold Palmer, the man and the golfer as well. Was fortunate enough to meet him one time at Pebble Beach about 24 years ago. And as I said in part 1 of my interview with Dr. Giles, is if you want to really get to know somebody and you just don't really have access to them, talk to their friends because they can give you a good idea of what they were really like. So we're going to get into their friendships with presidents as well. But first, I'd like to ask you, like I do at the beginning of every podcast, would you like and subscribe to the podcast? Because that matters to the analytics and to all the nerds at YouTube and also Google and all the other listening and watching platforms as well. And that helps our title sponsors as well. It goes a long way for them. Big thanks to Party Drinks, title sponsor. If you're looking for a drink alternative on the golf course, and if you're tired of hard seltzers and beer, and you're looking for something that's really smooth for golfers by golfers, that's what Party is. And the reason it's so smooth is because the quality of the spirits are so good. Party makes its own spirits, vodka and rum. The vodka is distilled 6 times, which makes for a smooth finish. And if your dream is to live on a golf course or in a golf resort community around Southwest Florida, especially the greater Sarasota area, nobody better than the golf real estate pros of Vince Visicaro and Gene Walsh from suncoastdreams.com. They're based at Lakewood National Golf Club, which has 2 Arnold Palmer designed golf courses. I live on the Piper course. The other one is the Commander course. It's the best golfing community in Florida, and there are about 50 properties available for sale. So if your dream is to live here, we'll bring you on board and get in touch with Vince and Gene. They'll take care of you. All right. Back with Dr. Howdy Giles. This is part 2 of our conversation. Howdy was the longtime dentist of Arnold Palmer, a close personal friend, his photographer as well. So Howdy, give me your best Arnold Palmer story.
Thank you, Kevin. I think one of my neatest stories is Arnie had told me this was going to happen. He was going to be at Camp David with President Bush 41, and they were going to have dinner. And then the next day, they're going to play golf at Caves Valley in Baltimore. So Arnie said he'd call me and let me know if I can come. So on Friday afternoon, I was at my fraternity reunion at Sigma Phi Epsilon at Delaware, and I got home early at 9 o'clock. And my wife said, he's not going to call. I said, Arnie said he'd call. So at 10 o'clock, here's Arnie on the phone. He says, Howdy, I just had dinner with the president. My wife and I, we watched the movie The Babe, and I asked the president if you could be with us tomorrow. He said, sure. So I get up the next morning. It's about an hour and a half drive from my house to Delaware, Caves Valley. So I leave with my camera gear and everything. My wife said, they're not going to let you take photos. I said, I'll take it anyway. So we go into this little guest house room, and the president says, Arnie's got his hand on my shoulder, which is in a book. So, Mr. President, my good friend Howdy is my dentist and my photographer. And the president said, we were talking about you at dinner last night. I'm thinking it doesn't get any better than that. It's a little dentist from Delaware. Arnie, the president, talking about me.
How did that make you feel?
Oh, like cloud nine, unbelievable. The president talking about me with Arnie.
Well, how was it playing with President Bush? How was he with his health at the time? Was he still playing like sprint golf? Because he had a reputation for playing very fast.
He did play fast, but not sprint golf. The 12th hole at Giles was a par 3, and we started on the back 9. And he just missed a hole in one by inches. Ball rolled about 10 feet by and made a birdie come back. So that was fun, obviously. And then his photographer was there, and I wasn't sure if I was ever going to see those photos. So I gave my camera to his photographer, and on the 17th hole, his name is Dennis Vasquez. I said, Dennis, could you get a picture of myself and Arnie and the president? So Arnie hit first, the president came over, hit second. I said, Mr. President, Dennis was his personal photographer all through the presidency. I said, Dennis is my new personal photographer. He said, yeah, he used to work for me. Anyway, he took our picture, and that's how I got one with 3 of us.
Tell me this. I know somebody that has caddied for George H.W. Bush and somebody who played golf with him, and they said he had a little bit of a salty tongue, and he like pre-apologized because he was an old sailor, and you were in the Navy too. Was the language a little bit colorful?
Not at all.
Really?
And Arnie always called him Mr. President, Mr. President this, Mr. President that. Well, this is a funny story. We're coming up the 18th hole, and the night before, a United States plane had gotten shot down in Peru. So the press wasn't anywhere near us. They were like 1,000 yards away, and a lady in the yellow slicker. So Mr. President says to Arnie, see the lady in the yellow slicker? She drives me crazy. So we walk up, and they all put out, and the lady yells over, Mr. President, tell us about Peru. He waves to her and says, see, she drives me crazy. That was funny.
Do you remember who that was? What reporter that was?
I don't.
Yeah. Okay. What's your golf story, Howdy? How did you fall in love with the game? Where did it start? And how good did you become eventually?
Well, my father played golf, and I could have cared less. I was a catcher on the baseball team in high school. I was a swimmer in high school and swam at the University of Delaware. So a fraternity brother said, why don't we play some golf? So I said, okay. So we played at DuPont Country Club where my dad worked, and it sort of clicked. All of a sudden, now I like golf. So my father was very excited about that and got me a set of clubs, and I played as a junior, golf at DuPont, and I worked as a lifeguard at Prospect Park Swim Club, and I had to be back to work. So I shot in the 70s. I shot 78, my first time in the 70s, put the clubs behind my car, and I drove off, and I drove over my clubs.
Oh, well, wait a minute. Okay, hold
on. Here's an engineer walking down the driveway or the steps. He said, son, if I were you, I'd jack up the car. Maybe you didn't break any clubs. So I got the jack out, jacked up the car up, and the clubs weren't broken at all. They just fanned out. I didn't break any clubs, but I just drove right over my clubs.
Holy smokes. So you broke 80 that day, and you didn't break any clubs.
Didn't break any clubs.
What was the feeling of breaking 80 for the first time?
Yeah, I was so excited. I'm a new golfer. And for me to shoot in the 80s, I had one birdie. Anyway, just very excited. I got back to do work, being an assistant manager of the country Prospect Park Swim Club.
Wow, that's cool. Hey, back to the Arnold stuff. He signed everything.
Everything.
And he actually paid for the postage. I heard Doc Giffen, his assistant, say one time that they spent about $100,000 a year plus just in postage alone. Why was that so important to Arnold to honor the wishes of people that requested his autograph?
He just wanted to take good care of his client, his fans, and that's what he'd do. So when my book came out, I figured, well, Janet Holcher was his secretary. I said, Janet, let me get some books signed by Arnie. So she'd be up on the desk. This is for Howdy. So he just signed Arnold Palmer. And Arnie even said, Howdy, I'll do anything you want me to do about the book, but I don't want to have to talk about it or everything. But anyway, I'll sign it. He signed the books.
What, and his penmanship was so good.
It was so good.
Have you seen the autographs of professional athletes today? It's scribble scrabble.
Oh, you can't tell what it is.
Read them.
Peter Jacobson was in line with Arnie, and Arnie's watching Peter Jacobson sign. So he stops Peter. He said, "Give me that." He said, "Peter, I can't read this. What does it say?"
Mm-hmm.
He says, "Peter Jacobson, my autograph." He said, "You better change it." So Peter Jacobson, the one who made Arnie make sure it was totally legible. It's the greatest autograph ever.
Yes. And I think that's a lost art. I think your signature should be something of a work of art. And if nothing else, and maybe this is the old fart in me, I'm 54, so I think I qualify for that now, is to honor the name your parents gave you.
Sure.
All right.
Did my autograph come through to you in my book? I tried to make it look like Arnie's.
It was good, and you wrote me a nice note that was personalized. Let me see if I can show that here. Might be hard to pick up on the camera, but and I know we're having trouble seeing you a little bit just because the transmission isn't really good. But you wrote me a nice note on the inside, and I'm going to find a real nice place for your book here, "The King and I: The Unlikely Journey from Fan to Friend." Tell me this. Howdy, we can hear you great, but like you're freezing up at times. That's fine, because I know as much as this is a video thing, a lot of people just listen in the car, so it doesn't matter. But you're striking a pose right now, and you look fantastic with that Pine Valley shirt and pink shirt. I know you're. Well, let me ask you, how many clubs are you a member at?
My question is what?
How many clubs are you a member of?
I'm a member of 5. Latrobe, Bay Hill, Wilmington Country Club, Pine Valley, and the Royal Energy Golf Club of St. Andrews.
How did that happen? That last one, the RNA.
So when I got in Pine Valley, a friend of mine said, "Howdy, you go on one level, you got to go one more level." I said, "What's that?" He said, "You got to join the Royal Energy Golf Club of St. Andrews." I said, "John, my wife will kill me. I already belong to 4 clubs. She'll shoot me." It's not that, Arnie can help you get in. So I got in through Arnie's help, and then he asked me, how can I get him in Pine Valley? So I had Ernie Ransom and Mel Dickinson for lunch with Arnold Palmer, and so I helped Arnie get in Pine Valley.
That's fantastic. That's returning.
It is.
Did he really need your help though?
Yeah. I loved it when he called my office. Dr. Giles, Mr. Palmer's on the phone. I loved it when he called.
Oh my gosh. There's so many stories about Arnold. Is he like Andre the Giant? They're all true.
He was, without a doubt. Yes, indeed. The giant of all giants. Very personable.
How's your golf game right now? Are you still playing a lot?
I'm playing Pine Valley tomorrow and Wednesday with Michael Schwimmer, who used to play baseball for the Phillies, a relief pitcher. And you play Pine Valley, right?
I've played it 4 times. I'm lucky. One of our past guests, Bill Hyman, the 5th.
Very long hole.
Mm-hmm.
So Michael Schwimmer, the first time he played 6'8", he drove it 85 yards from the 9th green. There's 2 greens, right and lefty with the right green, 85. And the caddy just put out his arms like, my God, I've never seen one this far.
Mm-hmm.
So I had Kirk Cousins to Pine Valley about a month ago.
Yep, quarterback.
So another friend. So he was really a great guy to play with.
Mm-hmm. How many presidents have you played golf with? Was it just Herbert Walker Bush, or have there been others? Right, that's the only one. Mm-hmm. So nice, so personable. How many did Arnie play with?
I think he played with all of them.
Yeah.
His favorite was Eisenhower.
Mm-hmm. Why so? Do you know why that was?
I think the fact that he won the Masters in '58 and Eisenhower took a liking to him, and he came to Arnie's birthday when he was 37. They had Arnie's jet went up and picked up the president, and the president knocked on the door. And when he said, go to the door and get this, and there's the president, Eisenhower.
It's just amazing that they all wanted just the value of golf, what it means to the presidency and society, and they all wanted to play with him. And Tigers play with presidents, Jacks play with presidents, but I mean, is it fair to say Arnold's played golf with more presidents than anybody?
I would say so, yes.
What do you think he got out of that?
Just being friendly with them all and getting to know them. I have 7 admiral friends that all wanted to play golf with Arnie. And so I met all these admirals because of my friend Chuck Zingler, who played football for the Naval Academy. He was a captain of the team and All-American cornerback. And so I got an autograph picture signed to Chuck from Arnold Palmer, best wishes from Arnold Palmer. And so Chuck introduced me to all these admirals.
And did you set up some golf dates with the admirals and
Oh yeah, they all came down to Bay Hill to have lunch with Arnie, have dinner with Arnie, and Bill Moran, Dave Buss, all these great admirals. They loved Arnie. Mm-hmm. He loved them.
Yeah.
One admiral flew the American flag over a ship, the USS Stennis, on behalf of Arnold Palmer. He said, "Howdy, you got to give this flag to Arnie." I'm thinking, that's not good enough for me. I got to have like Johnny Miller, Don Hicks on NBC give the flag to Arnie on TV, and they did. Oh. And Arnie's crying that they got the flag. He said, "I love those admirals." That was a great day.
Well, he was a great American too, wasn't he? Arnold, just involved with stuff. He was generous. How much? And he served. He was in the Coast Guard too. Did you ever talk about? Yeah. Did you ever talk about his experience in the Coast Guard and compare it with yours in the Navy?
He was stationed at Cape May in Florida. So talk about him remembering everything. A gentleman from Cape May came up to have lunch with Arnold Palmer and talk about Cape May. So they flew up and talked all about it. He remembered every name.
And that's the thing about it. He remembered everybody. I mean, that's just, did he practice that or that was just a gift? That's just
a normal gift. A normal gift.
What?
He remembered faces, names. It's an amazing person.
Yeah. What a gift to have. How did photography find you? When did that start?
My father liked doing photography, but I didn't get into photography until I was in the Navy. I'm a Navy dentist, and I could get camera gear from Japan for about a third the price. And we started taking a lot of photos. And then I met the Vice President Nikon at Olympic. My first, I was a USGA rules official for 11 Opens, 11 Senior Opens, and 24 Juniors. So I got to meet John Klaus was his name. And he said, "I'll get you some camera gear." So he got me camera gear and then got Arnie camera gear. And it all worked. We all had cameras.
Oh, hold on a minute. So Arnold dabbled with the camera? Did you?
He did.
Were you his instructor for that?
No, he sort of learned on his own. But I think in my photo book, there's one photo of him holding a big camera. And he liked it.
Was he any good at it?
He was good.
Yeah, really?
He was good at everything he did.
So would you guys talk about that like as much as you talk about golf or life? Was that
even more?
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me about that. What did he like photographing? I mean, how much of a hobby was it?
Well, for example, he's got his camera, and I've hit it at Bay Hill. There's a water hole in number 11. So I'm on the edge of the water. He said, "Just play it like a sand shot." So he took a picture of me. I didn't put it in my book because it's more about me than him. I hit it out of the water and said, "Hey, it's just like a sand shot."
Just like that. And
just like that.
Now you lived downstairs from him, the condo below him.
The condo was right underneath him. Yes. First condo.
Is it true?
New condos.
Is it true that you could just sort of look into, was his workbench, like, was there a garage and people would drive?
Garage with all his clubs and everything. I just loved being with him he said, "Howdy, I had the shoes that he wore in the first Skins game." He said, "How do you want these?" I said, "Sure." So I got the shoestring, got to polish up the shoes. Then he signed Arnold on one and Palmer on the other.
Those are in the book. That's a good picture of that. But what was that like were people doing drive-bys, acting like they just happened to be driving by, but they were really trying to sneak a peek at Arnold, weren't they?
Then they'd stop by and talk to Arnie, and they loved doing that. And he loved talking to them.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember his dog?
Oh, he had several dogs. He had Prince, Mulligan. So my daughter and her husband called their dog Mulligan. But Prince was the name. The life of Prince, flying in the jet.
Oh my gosh. Living the high life and hanging out on the floor. Like, were the dogs trained? Were they fetching him beers from the fridge when he's working on the clubs?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So, Howdy, as we wrap up part 2 of our interview, first of all, I want to thank you for your time. Dr. Howdy Giles is our guest here on Part T Time, My Golf Story. A dear friend of Arnold Palmer, his official, unofficial photographer, flew with him many times, his dentist, among other things. Tell me about the role of golf in your life, how important golf is to you, what it means to you.
The people that you meet through playing golf are incredible. I mean, they love hearing me telling Arnold Palmer stories to them. And everybody wants to play Pine Valley. And they want to play Wilmington. Wilmington's a pretty great golf course itself. They had the BMW there 2 years ago at Wilmington. Phil Mickelson. I met Phil and his mother and father, and just great stories from meeting people. I wish I had started sooner.
Well, you found it in due time, and not only did you play the game and love the game, but you served the game as a rules official. And I know you miss your friend terribly. I think we all do. But we were lucky to have Arnold Palmer as long as we did. And through stuff like this, through your book, which lives forever, we can honor his memory and remember him. And there's just nothing better than talking golf and talking about Arnold. If there is, I don't know what it is. Does that sound about right to you?
Kevin, you're great to mention it. Amen. Absolutely right. Yes, sir.
Well, Howdy, thanks for being my friend. You're a friend of golf, therefore you're my friend. We're both authors, and we love to tell stories and share stories. That's really what our podcast is all about, just people talking about their life in golf. And if we have cool things to talk about, then I want to hear it. And I know our listeners and our viewers like it as well. Let's play golf sometime. You want to do a home and home?
See you in Florida.
You come here. We've got, I almost lived on Arnie Loop. I almost bought a house there, but then it was gone. So I had to settle for Mulligan. But Arnold's fingerprints are all over this place. So why don't we do this?
I'd love to meet him.
Home and home? Does a home and home sound? Home and home, Bay Hill. Then you come to Sarasota and we'll take good care of you, okay?
I get down in January and there till May.
Okay, that's plenty of time. We'll get it worked out. All right, let's call it a night. Howdy, really appreciate it. Enjoyed the time, and you got to come back sometime. Sound good to you?
Yes, sir. Thanks, Kevin.
All right. For Howdy Giles, I'm Kevin Walsh. Thanks for listening and watching Party Time, My Golf Story, brought to you by Party Drinks and the Golf Real Estate Pros at suncoastdreams.com. Vince Vizzacaro and Gene Walsh. For Dr. Giles, I'm Kevin Walsh. We'll see you again next time on Party Time.
Thanks, Kevin.
My Golf Story. You got it, Howdy. Take care now.
Take care.
You've been listening to It's Party Time, My Golf Story, brought to you by Party Drinks. Classically designed golf drinks for golfers by golfers, and the golf real estate pros Gene Walsh and Vince Vizzacaro. For your Southwest Florida real estate needs, check them out at suncoastdreams.com or call 941-220-4000.
This is Vince Vizzacaro and Gene Walsh with the suncoastdreams.com real estate team at Fine Properties. We've helped hundreds of families find their dream homes in golf and resort communities in Lakewood Ranch, Bradenton, Sarasota, Parrish, Venice, and the surrounding areas.
Let us be your guides to finding your dream home here as well. Learn more at suncoastdreams.com or call us at 941-220-4000.